Good morning, students. Again, we are back. We were taking the chapter Faith in God, where we have come to know about a farmer whose name was Lancho. He used to live in a valley and was having a corn harvest ready for corn in his field ready to be harvested. Or before harvesting the corn crops, he was waiting for the rain. He was praying to God for the rain, and it rained. In the beginning, when it was raining, Lancho was very happy. He thanked God. Even he compared the raindrop with the 10 cent and 5 cent. After that, his happiness changed into sadness when the hailstone started to fall. This hailstone had totally damaged the crop of Lancho. Lancho was feeling very sad. He was in sorrow because he knew that throughout that year his family would go hungry. Then he thought that there is someone who could help him to come out from this situation, and it was God. So he decided to take help from God. Let's come to the chapter. Don't be so upset, even though it seemed like a total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. So Lancho is talking to himself. He's pacifying himself. He's consoling himself that don't be so upset. When everything seems to be lost, when everything seems to be gone, remember, no one dies of hunger. Somebody is there who is going to help you. That's what they say. That's what they say means the people say, no one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lancho thought only of his one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed means he had been taught from the beginning, sees everything, even what is deep in one conscious. Yes, it's true. God can see everything, even whatever we are thinking, even though we are not thinking, but whatever is there in our heart, in our conscious, God knows everything. Lancho was an ox of a man. What do you mean by this? Lancho was an ox of a man. If you see the animal ox work in a field, is work ox work is to till the field. Is it clear? So Lancho was a very hard working man, working like an animal in the field, but still he knew how to ride. So he was a farmer, but it doesn't mean like other farmer he was illiterate. Though he was a hard worker, but he still knew how to read and write. The following Sunday at daybreak, means when the sun came out, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in a mail. Mail means letter box. It was nothing less than a letter to God. So Lancho, he was filled with optimism, hope that no, God is there who is going to help him out. God will never let his family die of hunger. So what he did, he wrote a letter to God. He decided to take help from God. And then what was the content in the letter which he had written? God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crops come because the hailstorm. And then he stopped. Why the three dot is there? Because he have understood that after writing this much only, the God will understand what Lancho was trying to say to God. He wrote to God on the envelope. We write always what we write. We write an address. If we are sending a letter to someone, we write an address of that person. Here, he only wrote the word to God. Why to God? Because he knew to God means the address of the God is a heaven. So it will go in heaven. Put the letter inside and still trouble went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into a mailbox. So what we do, when we post a letter to someone, we put a stamp and then we put the letter in the letter box. From there, the postman collects the letter. One of the employees who was a postman and also helped at the post office went to his boss laughing heartily means he was not able to control himself and showed him the letter to God. Because when the postman opened the mailbox, the letter box, and he found a letter where the address was written to God, he felt very, means he was laughing, and he was laughing. So he went to his boss, the postmaster, and he showed the letter of Lancho to the postmaster. Never in his career, means as in a job as a postman, had he known that address. Even this postman, he had been working in this post office for many years. He had never seen a letter where an address to God is written. The postmaster, what kind of a man he was? He was fat, amiable means friendly, also broke out laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious and tapping means putting the letter on his desk, commented, said, "What faith! I wish I had a faith of man who wrote this letter." So postmaster is saying, I wish I would have that same faith in God, the faith Lancho is having in God. Starting up the correspondence with God. Means here, Lancho was writing a letter to God. So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea: answer the letter. So, what happened? He knew the man who had written a letter to God, he might be a very simple man who is having a great faith in God. And that man might don't know that never this letter will go to God, or he will never receive any help or answer of his letter. But the postmaster was a very kind man. He doesn't want to break the faith of Lancho on God. So he decided to write a letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill. Ink and paper. More than ink and paper, he needs something, because when he went through the content of the letter, in the content of the letter, Lancho had asked for money from God, but he stuck to his resolution. Resolution means he decided that he is going to help Lancho. He is going to send a reply letter to Lancho. And then he also wanted to help Lancho so that Lancho should not should not break his trust or faith on God. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged, means ready to give something for an act of charity. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half, that is 70 peso. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lancho and with it a letter containing only a single word as signature, God. So what the postmaster did, when he saw how intense, how great Lancho was having a faith on God, he didn't want to break that faith. He collected the money from the postman, men of his post office, also from his friend, and some part of his salary he had decided to give it to Lancho. This way, he was not able to collect 100 peso which Lancho had asked from God, but he was able to collect more than half of it. And after collecting the money, putting the money in the envelope, he wrote only God, so that Lancho should come to know that money has directly come from God. The following Sunday, Lancho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him, because Lancho was having a great faith in God. And he knew that if he had written a letter to God asking for help, surely God is going to help him. With that faith, next Sunday, he went to post office to ask whether there is any letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment, means satisfaction of a man who had performed a good deed, looked on from his office. Lancho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money, such was his confidence in God. So when Lancho got the money, he was not surprised, because he knew that if he had asked help from God, God is going to help him. The moment he received the money from the postman, he was happy. He knew it. But he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake. nor could he have denied Lancho what he had requested. So what happened? The postmaster thought that when Lancho will see the money, he will feel happy. No, Lancho was not happy. The moment he counted the money, he was very angry. And still he was having a faith in God that God could not make a mistake. And whatever Lancho had asked from God, God would have sent it. Immediately, Lancho went up to the window to ask for paper and pen. On the public writing table, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow. Wrinkling means anger, frown on his eyebrow, caused by effort he had to make to express his idea. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked. Lick means there is a gum at the back of the stamp. So when you lick it, it becomes wet, and then you can affix it, means paste it on the envelope. And then affix means paste it to the envelope with a blow of his fist, giving a what? Blow with his fist. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it because he thought that Lancho might have written a thank you letter. But what postmaster had seen when he gone through, had come to know when he gone through the content of the letter, it said, God, of the money that I asked you, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest, since I need it very much. You had only sent me 70 peso. Send me 30 peso more. But don't send it to me through this mail. Don't send it by the mail letter box. Because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Because these post office employees are the cheater. They have taken away my 30 pesos. I know you have sent me 100 pesos, but I have got 70 pesos. And I knew and I am confident that 30 peso had been taken away or been stolen by the post office employees. So next time, when you are going to send me my 30 pesos, you send it directly to me. And then he signed it, Lancho. So at the end, what I wanted to say is that Lancho, though it is good that we should have a faith in God, but we should also try to understand that God always sends his messenger. Is it clear? God always sends his messengers, or a messenger comes in a form of God to help his follower, his people. So Lancho should not be so rude. He should not have not blamed the post office employee. Instead of that, he should have been thankful, grateful to God for getting the money. And what we have learned from this chapter is that instead of blaming others, we should try to find out the fact. And one should be happy in what is having. I hope the chapter is clear to you. Tomorrow we are going to do the next chapter.